There's a lot of I remember Trump was gonna like ban TikTok over this, right? So yes, I think that part is interesting, but also just all platforms in general also have certain agendas too, right?
Oh yeah, I guarantee you.
So, but yeah, I got that.
Like everyone's got an agenda, but one agenda is like committing genocide and trying to destroy the West. So I'm like, that agenda is maybe slightly worse. Like Zuckerberg still just wants to get laid. That's basically all he's still about. He's like trying to figure out women. He almost has enough data to have sex now. He's going to put it all together. So I had a sort of double date with his sister-in-law. True story. In 2012.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not know who she was. A friend in New York was like, hey, come to the bar. I'm seeing an ex of mine. Like, we're having drinks with these girls. And then after he was like, that was Mark Zuckerberg's sister-in-law.
Good morning, marketers. Welcome back. And today we got a special episode because we have Dan Johnson as our full episode. Special guest commentator, Dan Johnson. Welcome. So Dan Johnson is the host of Dreams Around the World. It is a YouTube channel dedicated to understanding your personality type and how to I would say get the most out of your life by understanding your personality. I have learned through Dan that I am an ENTP, and every time I have any issues in my life, I just contact Dan and I say, yo, I'm an ENTP. This is what's going on. And Dan will give me the full diagnosis, break it down, and help me move on with my life. So, but Dan's actually an, what is it?
ENFP.
ENFP. So he's all about the ENFPs. So if you're an ENFP, you will definitely love Dan's channel. But if you're just into personality types, Myers-Briggs, anything like that, Dan is the man.
I can't argue with anything you're saying. Just keep it coming.
All right.
I don't have the letters memorized. I know I'm an I, introvert. E is extrovert, right? And I don't remember I did the Myers-Briggs, but I don't remember what I am. Yeah.
We can figure out.
The eyes are
nobody
always
can figure me
weird.
out, Dan.
Oh, then we know what type you are. There's that one type that's always like, no one knows me. I'm so unique. I'm a unicorn.
So Dan and I go way back to like starting out into marketing world. So Dan is an incredible digital marketer, even though he's focused on this idea of personality types and growing his YouTube channel and doing that sort of thing. He really knows a lot about marketing, and he's been a creator for, I don't know how many. When did you start your YouTube channel? It's been like 8 years.
Do we count it when the channel has random mismatched videos, like all great channels start with posted infrequently, or when there started to be some consistent posting on the same topic?
When you started the consistency?
I think 2016, 2017.
That's right.
Maybe a bit later even.
Yeah. So he's been a creator for a while. Do you consider yourself a creator? Do you use that word?
I usually don't actually, but I mean, I guess I could. And that's a lot of what, like internally, when I talk to my team about what I do well or what I should be focused on, I talk about creating. But I've never actually said to people, I'm a creator.
Have you ever used the term YouTuber or no?
No. One of my best friends here in Prague is a YouTuber, and he uses it with pride. I'm a YouTuber, baby. Like, this is his move.
When I was doing some keyword research, I found out that a YouTuber has a lot of traffic and very little competition. And I started optimizing for that word, how to become a YouTuber. Yeah. So good thing that we don't get a whole lot of listens on the show.
If you want to attract the 15-year-old boys to your audience, I mean, it's the best keyword to optimize for. They're big spenders. Gen Zs. We're going to be talking about these Gen Zs later.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that today.
All right. Actually, we're even going to be talking about 12-year-olds. Oh, look at that. Okay. Our first story. Our first story of the episode. I thought this was really cool and interesting. It was, I always kind of poke around Twitter, kind of seeing what some creators, influencers are kind of talking about. And I saw that MrBeast posted this. So he's posting how many views that he got every year of his life from when he was 12 years old to 23 years old. And one thing I was wondering about this, is MrBeast 23 years old right now?
Well, he's 24, I guess, according to this.
Is he?
Which just blows me away, too, because I don't know.
I thought he was older.
I thought he was like, I don't know.
I thought he was like my age.
Because he's
like
so
30,
experienced. 30 he's been at it for so long. You just assume that he's got, and you got to stop and remind yourself, like, damn. He's only
but just think about how far ahead. If he's at 24, like I started getting into like a professional career at 23. Like I became like a real, I called it a real estater. And then I started getting to marketing around that age. So like the fact that he's at where he's at. Anyways, so at 12 years old, he got 15,000 views. At 13 years old, I guess his parents probably were telling him to stop doing YouTube. He got less, 7,000 views. At 14 years old, 41,000. At 15 years old, he got to 125,000. I'm thinking he's talking about in that year, not, obviously not in total, right?
Yeah.
Then at 16, he went to 200,000. At 17, he was at about 5.5 million. And then at 18, 122 million. Look at that jump from 17 to 18. And then from 18 to 19, so going from 122 million to 464 million. Then at 20, at 2 billion. At 21, 3 billion. At 22, 8 billion. And 23, 13 billion. That is nuts. But it goes to show that, for the first 3 years anyways, getting 41,000 views on his third year is not a lot, right? I had a video, I was doing the random upload thing on the Web Family YouTube channel. And I had a random video that's like about how to build your funnel and ClickFunnels. That got like 30 or 40,000 views in a year, just by random uploads. But of course, he was doing this as like being a YouTuber, which is a little bit different, right?
Well, the cool thing about YouTube that I love highlighting for people is that there's a cumulative effect. Like there's a compound interest effect in YouTube because, okay, so he, let's go from 16 to 17. At 16, he achieved 200,000 views in his 16th year on the planet. But the videos he published when he was 15 were still working towards him. The videos he was publishing when he was 14 and 13 and 12 were still working for him. Now, the way he tells the story, he did actually delete a whole bunch of videos. And that actually might be the reason why the views went down, because I guess one of his classmates, right? One of his classmates found his channel. He got embarrassed and he went and like deleted all of the original videos. And then I guess he came to his senses or got the courage or whatever you want to call it, came back, started creating content again. But there is a cumulative effect because just because the videos that you made in Q1 of 2022, just because they were made in Q1 doesn't mean they just stopped working for you. They're still working for you. And then you're making videos here in Q2 of 2022. They're going to keep working for you in Q3 and Q4. And there's that compound interest effect that a lot of people don't even consider.
Absolutely. It's so much better than, in my take, than your platforms where you have to upload every day. Like I would never go all in on Instagram or TikTok, not TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, et cetera. Because to me, you're building
Facebook,
your own prison. Yeah. It's like, okay, now I've ruined my life in the future. Yeah.
It's the hamster wheel. Yeah. Yeah. What did they say the lifespan is of a tweet? It's like 18 seconds or something. What, like the average lifespan of a tweet? Something like that.
Seems like a good business model for a lifestyle.
Well, I feel like Twitter and Facebook, those are more like social networks for community building, relationship building. Like they're like, how you have a CRM for customer relationship management system. Those are like friend relationship management systems, which are different versus like a creator platform, which is also kind of what we're going to get into here is like this TikTok versus YouTube thing we're going to get into.
Yeah, that's fair. So when we make those statements, we're comparing kind of apples and oranges. YouTube is very different from YouTube's not social media.
Yeah. And as I was putting the show together and I was doing some research, I saw a lot of people are comparing TikTok to Facebook and TikTok to Instagram. And I don't think that's the right comparison. I think that's completely wrong. I think it's TikTok versus YouTube. But before we get into that, I just want to share there's the old saying, it says, would you rather have a penny that doubles every day for a month or $1 million today? Now, I know you guys already know the answer to this.
Because I think.
So a penny will be worth over $5 million within 30 days, right? And that's kind of like the compound effect, right? And I also just want to throw out Marcus, my son. He has a YouTube channel. It's called Super Epic Mr. Marcus, where he's doing a YouTube gaming. And at only 6 years old, and the year is not over. I mean, he did start, I guess, when he was 5. But he has over 11,000 views, 11,500 views. And he has about 70 subscribers right now. And I'm actually surprised that he is organic. I stopped optimizing his videos for the last 2-3 months. And he's still getting some pretty good views. You could see some of his videos getting between 20 to 100 views or so.
Yeah, and his most successful video, most popular video, 2,500 views. 9 months ago. That's awesome.
And that happened organically with totally reliable delivery service.
Good for him.
But what's even more cool about this is that he is fully managing this channel. I don't do anything anymore. I taught him how to record on his iPad, record a screen, how to upload, right? He knows how to do the descriptions. He does all the titles. I explained to him. He made many of the thumbnails. He's behind on his thumbnails, but you could see some of the crappy designs on those thumbnails. I always joke like that, but maybe I shouldn't. No, I just joke because I used to make his thumbnails and put in like real effort into it. And then I taught him how to use Keynote to make his own thumbnails. And now he's doing that. I taught him about tags, about hashtags. So, you know, he has hashtag Apple Arcade. And I taught him about like capitalizing the names of the games and stuff and just like how to write those out, right? And yeah, and then I just downloaded YouTube Studio for him. So now he can manage his comments. I always monitor it too, so there's something weird going on. But it just like at 6 years old, he fully knows. And then the way he's growing his subscriber base is everybody he meets, he tells them to subscribe to his channel. And it's the cutest thing. Like every time he makes a friend, he's like, you don't have a YouTube channel? And then he like tells them where to go and subscribe. And he like gets their phone and subscribes. And that's why people start watching these videos and stuff, you know? So there's a lot of it is like his friends and family and his like classmates and stuff are actually watching it, right? So
you heard it here first. The next MrBeast right here in the making.
Yeah. Just go to YouTube, type in Super Epic Mr. Marcus, all one word. You can check out Marcus's channel. It's just a lot of fun. We just had this whole battle on Minecraft yesterday. It was a lot of fun too. But yeah, I've also, because he's still young, I don't want to put him in the videos. So he always asks to be in the videos. And actually, I just got him iMovie on his iPad, and he's now using his toys, and I'm helping him to script a story. And he knows how to use iMovie to do the editing. But the story wasn't like a good, like complete story, right? So then I started doing storyboarding because he loves drawing. So now he's drawing out, doing the story, and then he's going to make, like I told him to make like 5-minute movies. So that's what's going to be coming next on his channel. And I'm just so excited for him to like have that feeling of being a creator, to know every time he gets an idea, he knows he can now create movies, right?
So I don't have kids. What's the reasoning behind not having him be on camera? Apologies.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The internet's creepy.
Yeah, internet's creepy.
I was wondering if that was the reason. I just was curious to ask.
I don't know. Yeah, one is like, I don't want to like make him a child star, you know, like you see some, you know, child stars who get kind of messed up, whatever. So I'm definitely not wanting him, like I wouldn't put him in like a movie or a commercial, even if they were going to pay him or whatever. I'm not comfortable with that. But also, I don't know how he's going to be like kind of MrBeast at, you know, 12 or 13 years old, getting made fun of or something like that, right? So I don't want something like that too. So it's funny because he asked me too. He said he wanted to do a video where he has this video over here. It's called like, it says, telling you about what videos I'm going to make next and what videos I made before or something like that. It's like 8 days ago. And so he wanted to make that video with him on camera explaining it. And I was like, no, just record your screen and show them your videos, you know? And he was like, why? And he kept asking me why. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just do it on the screen. I don't know, you know? So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I could, I guess, like do a little bit, but yeah, it's just not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a comfort thing. It's a total comfort thing. I get that. I was just curious if that was, I
can't like pin what it is exactly. Yeah. I'm worried about, actually, no, yeah, I guess what it is. It's like I'm worried about him getting either bullied or made fun of or something like that, you know, when he gets into a later grade, because now he's very young. So people might, you know, whatever. But then again, like if he's got a big YouTube channel, whatever, people make fun of him. Like, you know, I'm always going to explain to him that like, as you get popular, you get haters. That's just the way it is. Right. So anyway, so kudos to MrBeast for showing this. I just think it's so important. Even now we're just starting our channel. I think we've had, since we started the show, do you remember what the number was? How many views we've had? It was like 20,000 or something like that.
I have it saved somewhere.
I looked at it the other day. Yeah. A lot of it was because of our Nelk video, got like 10,000 views. It was like, we had one video go kind of viral. But besides that, I mean, we're doing this for like 2 months, and you know, we've gained about 100 subscribers or so since we started the show. And so it just goes to show, like, you got to do this. Like I knew when we started the show that this is like at least a 2-year commitment before I'm expecting any real results. And I think,
YouTube marketing is a long-term play.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing my screen here. I got the web-friendly YouTube channel up, and we got this huge spike in the beginning, like Matt just said. The Nelk Boys video just went absolute berserk. But we've got just shy of 13,500 views since the show went live about 2 months ago.
So as you can see, that's not really very good, because if it wasn't for that Nelk video, we're talking about like 3,000 views, over like 2 months, right? So, we were joking before we started how sometimes we see some issues in our videos and stuff like this, and I was like, I don't care, because I'm like, there's not a lot of people are watching this anyways. But then I also said that I was like randomly watching some MrBeast video, and he says you got to keep making videos as if you're getting 1 million views every time, and that's how you're going to get to 1 million views. So.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters with the little mistakes, truthfully.
Yeah, the viewer
That's
doesn't
not
care
what-
about that stuff.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. But sometimes like I think about we should edit this more to make it like tighter, stuff like that, right? To make it like more punchy for the viewer. But then it's like it just puts more into editing in the post-production. And we're trying to be a new show, and we really want to turn around faster, right? Right now it's taking us a week to turn things around. We want to turn around in a day. So it's all just kind of like over time, I want to figure out that process of like, how do we make it more punchy, faster? What's the style going to be, right? Right now we're talking as a podcast, and there's very little kind of cutting out of like silences, or like making the story tighter. Sometimes we might ramble on something, and maybe an editor might have to decide to like cut something out or move things around to make the story tighter. I think about that stuff, but then again, I'm thinking like, well, we're not getting we don't have a huge audience. But then going back to this idea is like, do we just keep producing as if we do have a big audience? And that's what's going to make it big. So I think that is what it is.
Like, okay, so let's talk about this, because I mean, MrBeast, super successful YouTuber. Obviously, whatever he says, people need to pay attention to. However, when you go back to those early videos that he made all of those years ago, he did not make those videos with the intention that those videos were going to receive millions of views. He didn't have that level of foresight. He was hoping that it was going to be like, I saw some of his earlier videos, because he uses them as examples, and oftentimes, and it's just him talking to his like a cell phone or a webcam. And when you see him in those early days, when he's still in high school, he's talking about, I would love 100,000 subscribers. Like that's what he was shooting for. Like that was his big dream back in those days. And then he was able to dream bigger and bigger and bigger and get to where he is today.
But I think like when he started getting those really big views, it was, I guess, yeah, he was getting some big views over time. But I remember when the one that made him pop off was when he got his first sponsor for $10,000. And then he said that he was going to give the money to a homeless person. Yeah. And then he did. I remember that video. I remember at that time I used to watch a lot of prank videos like Vitaly and like stuff like that, right? And Symbol Pickup, and like I was all into Andrew Hales. I don't know if you guys watch those guys. And so that showed up on my feed. It was MrBeast giving that, and I remember seeing it going viral, and I was just like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And I think maybe that's when I subscribed to him. But then he started making like the real YouTuber type content. So, and then when he's making that, he already had an audience to be able to go and like put in the effort to produce those kind of videos. So, but looking at like ARAC, who just got started, and he's really modeling that sort of, like MrBeast sort of style, right? And he just went from like his first video being, I'm going to be a YouTuber, like a real YouTuber, and then just going to 1 million subscribers in a year and doing it that way. So he made his videos from the very start as if he had 1 million viewers. And then he got to 1 million subscribers in a year.
That makes sense to me. I mean, model what you're trying to get to. Look at the way the bigger people do it. It doesn't make sense to model the person with no subscribers.
Yeah,
like,
successfully.
Except you guys, obviously. I model your channel as well on mine. No, I actually have, though. I've looked at how you've done clips and been like, these are very well done. Like, I should share this with my team.
All right, next story up is another tweet from MrBeast. All right, so MrBeast asked on his Twitter account back in February. He said, and I remember he was actually posing this question a lot, even to his YouTube subscribers and so on. I remember him asking about this a lot. It was, and this is kind of similar to the "Would you want to have dinner with Jay-Z?" If you know that one. So it's, would you rather have $10 million or 10 million subscribers on YouTube? Which, if you guys know the other question, people say, would you rather have like $1 million or dinner with Jay-Z? Something like that. Yeah. That one, I think is dumb. I would take the $1 million over dinner with Jay-Z. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why people would have dinner with Jay-Z. I guess the idea is like the knowledge you're going to get from Jay-Z or something like that. But like, no.
I've always hoped I'd be the Susan Boyle of hip hop freestylers. So if I could just get an hour with Jay-Z, that would be my big break. So I would take it. but I get it. I get why you take the money.
No. I take the million. But in this case, 10 million or $10 million or 10 million subscribers. Let's assume that they're going to, I mean, it's hard to say in this case because let's assume
are they humans and are they humans that earn more than $1 a day?
Well,
if they are
here's
humans?
the other thing too, is like, even if you have 10 million subscribers, you're not having all 10 million that are watching your videos all the time. That never happens, right? So that's the other interesting thing is like maybe 10% of your subscribers are actually watching your videos regularly, right? So even if you have 10 million subscribers, it's more like you've got an audience of like 1 million people watching your videos. So you're going to be averaging probably 1 million views a video. Let's say you put out a video a week, you know? So I don't know if you guys can do the math on like whatever the ad revenue might be. But I actually want to tame this question down a little bit to a more reasonable, realistic number. It's, would you rather have $10,000 or 10,000 subscribers? And we're talking real subscribers. Let's just say you have.
Oh, is that,
let's just
is
say,
that the question?
Okay, how about this?
Subscribers.
How about this? You get like a shout out from MrBeast on one of his videos. Okay, let's assume that if he gives you a shout out, you're going to get between 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers, or not MrBeast. It could be from whatever, whoever has your audience. Like for us, we don't want MrBeast. We want like, who knows, whatever. We want Dan Locke to give us a shout out.
So I would take the subscribers.
Subscribers. Why?
I did the math quickly, and that's basically what I've done. When I think about the cost of production I've had and the amount of subscribers I've gained, I've basically made about that investment into subscribers, maybe slightly less, but with my own time as well. So I've had the investment in editors, etc., plus my time. So, but I've also, that your subscribers matter a lot depending on your channel, right? If you're a prank channel or whatever, your subscribers worth a lot less than if you're an expert, a coach, a trainer, and people are coming to you with an interest in your business services. Then a subscriber's worth a lot more.
That's very true, depending on your industry. I would agree. But what about the? I guess because you don't really rely on your YouTube ad revenue, right? You're more so building your audience and monetizing through courses, coaching, so on, right? Andrew, what would you say?
Yeah, for the most part, subscribers are a vanity metric for the most part. Yes, the larger you become, the more features become unlocked to you. Like everyone knows, or most people know, to get monetized on YouTube, you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. I just, like a few months ago, realized that if you wanted to have one of those charitable live streams, whereby all the super chats and everything automatically go to like the good cause that you're trying to raise funds for, you need at least 10,000 subscribers for that. Same thing for merch shelf. You need at least 10,000 subscribers for that. But for the most, more and more features going to be unlocked to you. You can get the verification check mark after you get to 100,000 subscribers. Now, in my view, that's the only value that subscribers bring. And I'm very cautious with regards to subscribers, because someone could subscribe to your channel. If MrBeast or whoever gave me or my client a shout out, great. Some people come over and subscribe, but they never come back and watch any video ever again. It was like a pity subscribe, right? And those are low quality viewers. And the thing that I always try to remind people is like, listen, you don't have an unsubscribe button. Meaning, I can't, like, what I would love for you, YouTube, if you're paying attention, please, I would love this. If I could go into my channel or my client's channel and sort through all the subscribers, the ones who watch and the ones who don't watch, I would force unsubscribe the people who never watch the videos. I would do that because I only want high quality, juicy data. Because that's how the YouTube AI functions. The YouTube AI is able to serve up your content to that many more of the perfect viewer if it has more accurate data, right? Which is a high quality viewer. And the only people I want subscribed are high quality viewers, in my view.
But do you think that having those subscribers, like, do you think if you went and, like, I don't know if you could do this, like buy fake subscribers? Oh, you can buy fake subscribers on YouTube, right?
Could, yeah.
Do you think that would hurt your algorithm?
Yeah.
Because if a fake subscriber is like not even seeing your video in the feed, therefore they're never not clicking because they're just not showing up. So then does it really matter?
I think it has an impact. I mean, I don't have the access to the YouTube AI and how it functions.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
Because of all the conversations that I've had with YouTube experts, I think it has a negative impact. I think it's a negative engagement signal when YouTube goes, oh, look at this. Someone subscribed to your channel and never came back. that means you're not posting good enough content to convince the person to come back.
Right. Interesting. So you take the $10,000?
No, you told me those are high quality subscribers. I would take the subscribers too.
You're getting a shout out from the YouTuber of your choice who is going to end up giving you at least 10,000 subscribers.
If it's the YouTuber of my choice and they're in the same niche, the same vertical, the same industry, then yes, I would take the subscribers. But I would need that assurances. And if I don't have that assurance, give me the
What assurances? What do you mean?
The assurance is that those are high quality subscribers. That's what I care about. I want them.
Well, yeah, because if they're making a video, they'll like go and subscribe to Andrew's channel, and you just know based on like I think I've seen MrBeast talk about this, that if he gives you a shout out on his video, you get about 100,000 subscribers. Or he did it for one guy. One guy got 1 million subscribers. It was like somebody won a contest. He had a YouTuber contest on one of his videos.
Yeah,
I forget exactly the details of that. And then the guy who won, he gave him a shout out on Twitter or something like that, and then he had 1 million subscribers overnight.
And if he's a similar creator to MrBeast, then that would be super valuable for him.
Exactly.
If he wasn't, then that probably would have done some damage to his channel. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I would also take the subscribers in this case. And what I would imagine would happen is that you get 10,000 subscribers, and then maybe I think 10% of them would actually continue watching your videos if you continue uploading the same similar type of content. So let's scale it back up now. So now we're going back to $10 million or 10 million subscribers. Now what do? You're getting a shout out. You're getting so many shout outs until
I'm
you
taking the $10 million. Because if I have $10 million, I do not want to spend my time running a YouTube channel. You told me not to swear, but
Andrew, what do? 10 million or 10 million subscribers?
Because the purchasing power of that money is going to be going down all the time. I know I could slice off a sizable chunk of the 10 million to create the business and the resources that I need to spin up multiple YouTube channels that would create the passive income for me. So I feel like I'm copying Dan again, but yeah, the 10 million would be more.
I'm in the same boat. I would definitely take the 10 million without hesitation. So at what number do you think, what dollar amount, do you stop saying yes to the subscribers and then saying yes to the dollars? Like, do you think if it was like $1 million and 1 million subscribers?
No, for me, it'd probably be like 500,000 and I'd probably switch over to the dollars.
Dan?
I can't decide, honestly. And there is a thought, like, as I said that answer before, there is, depending on the content. So part of why I love what I do is I like talking and making videos and having a positive impact on people. So in theory, if it's like you can impact 10 million people, and it's like your mission will improve and spread, then it becomes hard to choose the dollar, I guess, at any amount. But the thought of having to like keep up, I don't like being consistent with really anything. So like people always say, you can be consistent, you brush your teeth every day. And I'm like, yes, I do. Just kidding, mostly. But it's why God invented Listerine, right? That's why we have it. So yeah, I don't know if I could pick a specific amount because where I would cross over, but
yeah, I feel like I'm in the hundreds of thousands, like if I really want to be realistic about it, I think you're right. Like around the 500,000 mark, maybe it's like 250K, something like that, where you could take that money and invest it into maybe creating your content and like doing things more organically and so on, right? Versus just kind of getting that shout out, which who knows, right? What that really is going to mean. So cool. Let's move on to the next story.
So stop asking people to subscribe on YouTube. This is perfect timing. So we have an article here by 2Filter arguing that, so the status quo for years and years and years has been for the YouTuber, the content creator, hey, subscribe, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel and comment below and blah, blah, blah. And the argument that this article is making is that the fact that this is almost like the standard that the viewer is expecting to hear, because almost every single YouTube video content creator has that regular spiel. But the YouTube experts and the super successful YouTubers out there will tell you that it's all about watch time. It's all about dwell time. It's all about session time. Call it whatever you want. It all means the exact same thing. YouTube only generates revenue when people are consuming content on YouTube. It's top time on platform. And so the number one, and I fully agree with this article. I've been saying this for probably the last 2 years. that people need to stop asking people to smash the like button. Like Graham Stephan is famous for smashing the like button and being really creative and asking his viewers to hit the like button.
This is not about the like button. This is a subscribe button. Did he say don't say hit the like button?
Oh, well, I read the article, and the article is saying how every YouTuber is asking to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. But yeah,
right.
The main premise of this article is to subscribe to the channel. But in the argument, and I happen to agree with the argument in this article that's not really going to really inspire a lot of growth in your YouTube channel. These days, it's 2022. These days, you want to assume that the viewer knows exactly what to do. If they like your content, they're just going to know. They're going to know to subscribe because they're going to want to be exposed to your content again in the future. So really, throughout the video, and especially at the very end of the video, in the last 20 seconds, when those clickable elements appear, it's including that verbal call to action saying, hey, you're going to love this playlist right here. You're going to love this video titled blah, 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 and actually have a really strong call to action where you're actually like pointing to the clickable element in the last 20 seconds and actually verbally calling out the title of that video. It requires a lot of prep and planning that not every YouTube content creator is going to do. But that's the argument in this article, because going back to what we were just talking about, that subscribers can be valuable if they're high quality subscribers, and if they're not high quality subscribers, you're arguably possibly just flooding some less than ideal viewers, which doesn't give the YouTube AI the data it needs to really serve your content to that many more ideal viewers.
Yeah, I think there's value in the subscribe or like, just in terms of someone committing or taking an action to it. So someone subscribing is going to be more likely to watch again, aside from the algorithm. It's just a conscious move, right? It's like, everyone wants to join a team, be part of the group, and all that crap normal people care about. So I feel like that would have some influence of basically people want to be consistent. So if they subscribe, they're making some kind of a commitment, right? But probably referring them to the next video is a better move for the algorithm's sake. As well as if they watch another video or they watch a few, then your videos will keep showing up more in their feed and they'll subscribe organically at some point. So that makes sense. One day I might be prepared enough to mention specific videos at the end of new videos I'm making and start doing that.
Yeah, I saw a channel. I was watching a show, an episode, like someone I was watching someone get interviewed on someone else's channel. And then I looked at their channel and I was like, not really into that kind of content. It was cool. It was like, whatever. And then I did not subscribe. I considered subscribing. I was like, do I want to subscribe to this? And I did not subscribe. And then the next day, it was still, he was posting, how you can post now, like, surveys, or like you can like create like kind of social posts on YouTube, and that started showing up in my feed. And then it showed up in my feed with a subscribe button next to his name. And I was like, but I already went to his channel and I chose him to subscribe. But he keeps, even until now, he keeps showing up in my feed. And now I subscribed, because then I was like, okay, there's enough content here. I could see I'm liking it, which proves that you do not need to hit the subscribe button once you start watching content. But I think it depends on what kind of content you watch. Sometimes I search for things like a how-to on something, or I'm trying to figure information out. Like I was connecting my smart bulbs together. Right? I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's very complicated. It's super annoying. So I was watching a tutorial video about how to like switch you have to use like a 2.4 gigahertz connection for your smart home. It's so stupid. But so after I watched that video, I don't then start seeing a whole bunch of smart home videos showing up in my feed. Right?
That makes sense.
Right. But then when I was watching this video that was an interview with this guy who I was admiring or whatever, then all of a sudden I start seeing more of this guy's content. So I think it depends on the kind of content. It'll just naturally going to show up. But
YouTube differentiates between tutorial videos as well, because those show up a lot more in Google searches, like how to. Right. And so that kind of makes sense versus entertainment videos or education videos.
Is that a real thing? If you put how to in your title, or how do they differentiate?
Well, no, it's based on what people search. So if people search for how to do something, Google will serve them more videos than if they're looking up like the current economic state of Saudi Arabia or something.
Right.
It's the 4 pillars. The one of the 4 pillars is search and watch history. The YouTube AI in that microsecond is quickly calculating everything that you've clicked on and watched in the past, and it will decide what to serve up to you. Like, for instance, if I went to this would be a bad example for me, but it's the first example that's popped in my head. If you go into YouTube and you type in the word cricket, YouTube will either show you the sport cricket or a bunch of bug videos, depending on what your watch history reflects as who you are, as at what demographic, what kind of persona, what kind of avatar you are, right?
Huh. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how they differentiate, how the AI would know, this is a how-to, or this is something that we want to keep showing in the feed, Because I've looked up other things too, like some topics that, I definitely don't want to be showing up in my feed. It's same thing as like when you get retargeting ads for something, you're like, I don't want that in my, I don't want to be able to see that, It's the same sort of idea, right? So sometimes like I think about that. I'm like, should I be like switching accounts just so it doesn't start showing up in my feed? But I find that it doesn't. And it's interesting with
really?
that. Yeah, I've looked up things like, when I'm just like doing research or stuff, and then it does not start showing up in my feed, right? And there's other times where I've been noticing certain videos and topics keep on showing up on my home feed. There's like a TED Talk that's a few years old that says it's called like "Sleep is Your Superpower." I have not clicked on it, but I've been seeing it on my home feed for like the last like 2 weeks.
They'll eventually get you. I have a few of those videos too. Like they just keep showing up.
Right?
You will like this TED Talk.
Yeah, keep watching it. Because I also see videos I've already seen before show up there, which is weird.
A thing that really worries me about the future of the world is, speaking of Google, YouTube, etc., they're doing the predictive text, right?
Yeah.
Where, I don't know if you have this enabled, but in Google Docs or Gmail, they'll predict the whole sentence you're writing now.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it.
It goes along the same way. I'm thinking like they're showing you this video and they're like, no, you're going to like this video, Matt. Like we will show it to you until you watch it. And I think like the predictive text changes how people write. Because I might write, hey, have a really awesome day, but it will say have a good day. And I'll be like, screw it, push tab. That's fine. Like that's close enough.
Yeah. I've done it before.
And honestly, it's dumbing everything down, right? And it's changing how people talk. And then other people read how you talk. So it's really hijacking communication.
It's behavior modification.
Yeah. And it is. And then they'll showing you that same video 50 times, like, why, I don't know. I'm just assuming it's something like why you shouldn't watch pornography 45 times a day. And they're like, Matt, watch this video. And then you're like, they keep showing it there. And eventually you're like,
I think actually with sensitive topics like that, it does not keep showing up. I think that could cause an issue for people. Like, you remember there was like an old story about like how like a father found out that his daughter was pregnant before she knew it or something like that.
I remember
There's an old story about this.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they were sending her ads, weren't they? Or flyers. It wasn't even Google. It was Walgreens or one of the pharmacies could tell by her purchase history in the store. Right. That's happened even where they started sending her things for diapers and that based on the food she had been buying or something. And she didn't know she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Wow.
Because I do notice that I do not see things that are like, call them inappropriate, whatever you want to say. Like that does not show up. If I look it up, it doesn't show up on my feed afterwards, right? So I think it maybe has to do also with the kinds of channels I'm watching and then what other people who also watch that content, what they're watching. So maybe I watched this, let's say this video, the one I was telling you about earlier, it was an interview with someone. And then maybe people who watch that video also watch this TED Talk. So like, well, hey, you watch this whole interview, right? So therefore, other people who watch this whole thing also watch this. And we're like, you're going to love this. You're going to love it. And they keep feeding it to me, right?
But the chances are pretty good, though, that you might actually like it. Because now, assuming that you've used that same Google account and you've consumed a bunch of content, so now YouTube has this pretty awesome picture of the persona, the avatar that makes you. And it knows that other people with a similar behavior pattern, viewer pattern, really love the video.
Oh my God.
Sorry?
No, I was going to say, what if they know I've been watching YouTube late at night and they're like, get to sleep. And that's why. Because sometimes I fall asleep to YouTube. So sometimes it'll just play, until, who knows, 2 or 3 in the morning or whatever. Because I end up falling asleep to like listening to something, right? And then maybe they're like, get to sleep. You should watch this video. This is why you should stop doing this. So they're like protecting my health.
Speaking of behavioral modification, sending you the same videos that other people like you it's kind of why like there's three kinds of Americans now, right? You probably don't notice this if you're in America, but from the outside, there you have once someone watches Joe Rogan, you're like, oh, okay. So then you watch these 7 other podcasts. You believe these things. You've probably done some of these diets, and then you're like, there's other things that I won't even get into, but it's shaping people into these small, like, it's honestly funny. Like, people are basically characters now, like one of a couple stereotypes that it's easier to see from the outside, where you're like, and that probably comes a lot from that, right? Where once you start watching one, it's not showing you the random mix of different content. You go on YouTube and the first 3 videos you watch, it now shapes your entire destiny and the person you're going to become, because you're watching people talk about topics in a persuasive way. So they'll convince you to think more that way. Then they'll show you more of those topics. And then it's like, yeah.
What do they call that? Like the sound box or whatever, like the
echo chamber. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very, aware of that sometimes when I see that sort of thing, where I'm like, I'm always getting the same opinions, in my feed. And I do actually explore other people's opinions to understand. Like, sometimes I wonder about things like this whole, like, the whole don't say gay bill and all that. I really looked into it because I didn't understand. I was like, why would people not be into this? I don't want to get into the whole thing, but I did go deep into it because I was very confused by it as to why it was so controversial or whatever. So, but
I really like Patrick Bet-David's approach. He actively, like, I don't know if you've ever watched his YouTube channel. He's
actually okay. That interview I watched, it was actually an interview with Patrick David.
Yeah, there you go. He talks about this all the time. He actively engages with people who have opposing opinions of his own, because in his mind, he gets closer to the actual truth if he's always up against people that have a completely different opinion to his own. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, no, I really agree with that a lot. So, but in terms of this article and this idea of like, don't ask to subscribe, I actually really agree with this. I think in our niche, I think what we're doing, I think that there's no point to subscribe. And I've actually heard MrBeast talk about this, that in the future, there will be no subscribe button.
Yeah, I've been hearing whispers about that within the next couple of years, there won't be any subscribers.
You don't need it because it doesn't matter. Yeah.
All right. I need to get my silver button.
Yeah. Before that happens, right?
The play button. Yeah. You better get the gold.
Yeah, because these vanity metrics are part of what make these networks addicting, right? It's like you want to go for the, it shows you're popular or whatever. So I don't know that they're going to take it away, but maybe there'll be a new metric. Or something,
And one thing I just want to say before, because I know we got to move on to the next story here, but like you touched on it at the beginning here, Matt. Like, I think it adds a lot of value to your life if you just create additional Google accounts. I have multiple Google accounts. If I'm doing research for a client, I don't want to be logged in as myself, because I'm going to end up watching a whole bunch of stuff that I don't enjoy, and I don't want the YouTube AI serving this stuff up to me in the future. So I'm protecting my identity with regards to what the YouTube AI sees. And so I have multiple accounts. I have multiple profiles that I can log into. And I mean, think of it this way: like, when was the last time someone watched your Netflix and they watched something that you would never watch, and then you turn on your Netflix and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Wait, Andrew, are you sharing your password? Hang on, but you're not supposed to be sharing your password, Andrew.
Well, when they're coming over and they want to watch something, and it's like a kid, like it's your friend's kid, and it's like My Little Pony or whatever. I'm like, why is My Little Pony showing up on my?
I know. Sometimes I was logged into like Marcus's account, and then I started watching stuff, and then it was showing up in his feed was like all this stuff that I watch, and he was like, why is this showing up? So yeah, and then so now I'm always very cautious about which account I'm on. But yes, I agree with that. So yeah, I think it is true. I think we should stop saying subscribe, and instead we should give people a reason to watch some of our other videos. Right. So, and also just real quick before we bounce off here, because I noticed, Andrew, you do this a lot. You use a lot of the callouts on our videos. Is this some sort of like internal linking strategy that you're doing?
You mean referencing earlier videos? Yeah.
Like I noticed in some of our videos, like you were linking to things that like wasn't directly related to what we were talking about. I just noticed you doing a lot of callouts on those. And like, I thought you were doing some sort of internal linking strategy. I wasn't sure.
Strength. Yeah. So it's all about strengthening the data relationship between whatever video that we're on with existing content in our library. Right. So that when someone's watching the full episode or the clip or the shorter clip, if they're enjoying the content, it will be much more likely that the YouTube AI will serve up our other episodes in the suggested column.
Oh, interesting. Because I noticed you were linking to clips from like earlier episodes and so on. Like I noticed you do that a lot. Is there like some ratio of like how many times you should do that in a video?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, you're only allowed up to 5 cards in a YouTube video. But of course you can add links in the description. You can add a link in the pinned comment. There's a bunch of places where you can include a CTA, and it's all about strengthening the data relationship of a bunch of videos, as long as they're within the same bucket. You know what I mean? If we're talking about podcasting, then I'm going to link towards a video where we're talking about podcasting.
So I think that's really interesting because, you know, in SEO and blogging and, you know, all that stuff, I do that on the website. You always link back to we always do a minimum at the very bottom of every one of our articles. It says, read more related articles here. And then there's always a minimum of 3 other articles that we link to. Minimum.
Yeah. And YouTube being a Google company, it's the same approach.
That's why I thought that was very interesting, just observing what you were doing. And I was like, oh, this must be some sort of internal linking on our channel thing. So I don't think people know about that. I think that's a little YouTube hack that's not that popular.
Yeah, I don't know how well it's known. I learned it from Daryl Eves when I read his book, The YouTube Formula. Dan, have you read that? Have you read the YouTube Formula?
I haven't. I was going to write it down.
Oh, dude, you like guaranteed to add value to you. A must read for anyone who's taking YouTube seriously. The YouTube Formula. It's a great book. Yeah, and the audio version just came out.
All right, guys. So I found this article here around TikTok versus YouTube and which one should you choose. So this was on promo.com. And I also found a few other kind of articles and stories that kind of tie into this. Okay. So I found that this, in terms of finding data and research about TikTok, YouTube users, all that kind of stuff, what's interesting about this, it's all third-party research. Every time you see any sort of data about it, they usually surveyed a few thousand people. Usually it's around 7,000 and more. I found that the data was all over the place in terms of demographic, different ages, people use different age groups and so on, the amount of views people are watching, the average time watching, all that kind of stuff. It was interesting because I was actually digging to try to figure out what the accurate answer was, and it was kind of all over the place. Okay. So just going to run you through some of like what I found was the most common sort of stats. Okay. So user base on TikTok is about a billion monthly users, and on YouTube is about 2 billion monthly users, which is very interesting considering how new TikTok is and so on. I think that's really interesting. Demographic on YouTube, 15% are what you'd call the Gen Z, 13 to 17. 50% of 13 to 17-year-olds are watching YouTube. I guess they're saying regularly. I don't know what the stat is there. 95% of people between the ages of 18 to 29. 91% of the people between 30 and 49. 83% of the people between 50 and 64. And about 50% of the people who are 65 and older. That's YouTube, right? So a lot of people are watching YouTube. Then on TikTok, 43% of people between the ages of 18 to 24, 32% of the people between 25 to 34, and only 3.4% of people who are over 55. So definitely a younger demographic, right? They say on YouTube, the Gen Zs, which are considered currently between the ages of 13 to 17, around that age, spend on average 86 minutes a day on YouTube. That was from a 2020 study. So that's about 43 hours a month. There were many other studies that talked about around 24 hours a month, which was interesting. So it's kind of all over the place of how much they're actually spending. And then on TikTok, they have something between the ages of 4 to 15. It was weird that it was at 4 years old versus a little bit older, because I don't even know what age you're supposed to be when you get TikTok. But when Marcus was around 4 or 5, the games that he was playing, there was always ads for TikTok, and he signed up for TikTok by himself. Actually, I one time saw him using TikTok. It was actually the first time I ever saw TikTok, was because he had randomly downloaded it through an ad, and he was watching videos on TikTok at that age too. So it is interesting that they are advertising in games for kids. So whatever. Anyways, but it says 87 minutes, which is about the same. That equals out to about 43.5 hours a month, right? And again, these stats, I mean, you could just find stats all over the map, right?
Yeah. I got to jump in here, dude, because I'm not going to call out any names here or anything, but I watched virtually the last Traffic and Conversion Summit. And I got really upset because I mean, it's a well-known, well-respected event. And they always have speakers, guest speakers that are experts in their different disciplines. And they had a TikTok expert up there. I'm not going to say who it was. And she was spouting out all of this stuff. Well, it's a virtual event. So I'm like, what she just said doesn't really jive. So I started like fact checking. And I'm like, mind blown, because I'm like proving her stats wrong. Like she was saying how TikTok was beating YouTube. And I was like, what? I've never heard that. And then I looked it up. And what she failed to mention in her presentation was, TikTok was beating YouTube in the UK. So I was like, okay, well, and she just, omitted that section of it. Right. So, I mean, I think, Dan, I want to know if you're on TikTok in a second here, but really quickly before I pass the mic over to you, I think it all boils down to, like, Matt, I agree with you, man. There's the data. People can get lost in the data, right? It's super easy to get, because especially when YouTube considers a view 30 seconds. Do you guys know what a view in TikTok is? I looked it up.
What,
0.1 seconds.
Nice.
But they automate the video, so anything that shows up is a view.
Yes. That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying the Chinese Communist Party would lie about numbers? I don't understand. I mean, I put all my money into Chinese real estate because they are so transparent
Chinese
and honest.
real estate. Sorry, Dan, are you telling me you're not on TikTok? What's the story there?
Not on TikTok. Okay. Purely principle. So many people tell me to go on. It could grow my business. The fact that so many people are on a software that, for all intents and purposes, is owned or at least completely heavily influenced by the Chinese Communist Party is the most insane thing in the world to me. Even if they're not influencing the searches, which they are, people have tested, like even in America, if you try to put in videos about Tiananmen Square or whatever, you're going to get some flagging. Even if they're not doing, even if that's not the issue, the fact that the amount of data they're getting, like imagine the 1930s, 40s, or like during the Cold War, you're like, oh, well, let's give our citizens a device the Soviets have made that will gather mass amounts of data about everything about them, allow our algorithm to skew what they watch, what they're interested in, what they think. There's probably a reason TikTok videos lean, well, I don't know if they do, but like, if you're thinking that algorithm, what are you going to promote the most, right? You're going to promote the heavy politically left videos, maybe the heavy right videos, make everyone hate each other, tear apart society. It's like we're just handing them the future of civilization. But that's cool. We can make some bucks on TikTok.
There's a lot of they were, I remember Trump was gonna ban TikTok over this, right? So yes, I think that part is interesting, but also just all platforms in general also have certain agendas too, right?
Oh yeah, I guarantee you.
So, but yeah, I totally I got the answer.
Like everyone's got an agenda, but one agenda is like committing genocide and trying to destroy the West. So I'm like, that agenda is maybe slightly worse. Like Zuckerberg still just wants to get laid. That's basically all he's still about. He's like trying to figure out women. He almost has enough data to have sex now. He's going to put it all together. I had a sort of double date with his sister-in-law. True story.
What?
In 2012.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not know who she was. A friend in New York was like, hey, come to the bar. I'm seeing an ex of mine. Like, we're having drinks with these girls. And then after, he was like, that was Mark Zuckerberg's sister-in-law. I was like, okay, that may have made her seem slightly less boring. I mean, she was a very boring human being, but it would have been slightly more interesting. I might have engaged a little bit having known that fact beforehand, but there you go.
So YouTube video lengths are 15 minutes for unverified accounts.
I gotta stop you there. That's not true. This article got that wrong. I've
really?
Just recently, not that long ago, I published an 11-hour video for a client on their YouTube channel, and when I had to do some research because I was uploading such a long video. And last I checked, it was like it's
that's
like
right.
Like there is a limit, but last I checked, it was like 15 hours or something. I don't know why this article says 2 hours. So
I think you're right.
False.
Yeah,
don't believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's old. I was thinking about that too because I remember seeing that there was like a one really long.
They do
video.
those music mixes, right? Where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
fall asleep,
and
8-hour
meditation.
mix
There's
or
meditation.
whatever.
That's
videos,
right.
There's there's all kinds. There's focus videos. There's what do they call?
Yeah.
What do they call that girl like working at her desk? The animated girl working at her desk with the rain out the window.
Yeah.
I know what you
the
mean.
beats,
Chill out
the
music and
binary,
stuff.
beats,
binary
yeah,
beats.
because people like during COVID, people felt alone, so they would play that video for hours and hours and hours, right? So yeah. Go ahead. Keep going there, Matt.
So TikTok started with 15-second videos, and that was actually due to a licensing issue when people were using music, because originally it was called Musical.ly, if anyone doesn't know that. So they launched, they changed the name to TikTok in 2018, but TikTok actually launched as Musical.ly in 2016 with 15-second clips. The reason it was so short was because they couldn't get licensing for the music. Then they shortly after that made it 3 minutes. And then that's what it's been now for a while. And now they are just starting to test 10-minute videos on TikTok. And originally YouTube started with 10-minute limits. And then I think they slowly increased it. I remember at that time when it was 10 minutes, they said, hey, if you get a verified account, it's 15. But back in the day when YouTube started, it was short videos that would go viral, right? It was always like make a 2-3 minute video. Now I think that it's like 10 minutes is kind of the sweet spot. 10 to 20 minutes is the sweet spot. So just in terms of video length, so, you always see these platforms, they'll start with smaller like attention spans and they grow over time. So that's why I really think that TikTok is wanting to be the next YouTube. And I wonder, in terms of vertical video, can someone sit and watch a 10-minute video where it's so easy to swipe it or whatever? Like, how do you watch 10 minutes on TikTok? I don't know. And I wonder if they're going to actually switch, or not switch, but also offer horizontal video, going from vertical video to horizontal. Because then if they had there's no really big YouTube competitor. There's like video hosting platforms. In terms of like video discoverability, there's nothing else, right? Where do you go to really find so it'll be interesting to see if TikTok, I think they are going to continue to raise those limits and probably switch from vertical to watching things horizontally and maybe picture in picture, maybe, those kind of those premium features you get on YouTube where you can like close the app and keep on listening.
I really like
if they just did that and made that for free. Yeah. But if they did that on TikTok, I would be uploading all of our stuff on TikTok. It's just another way to, why not? Right. So that to me is kind of, if you're worried about China and all that kind of stuff, that's where I think TikTok can really win, because they have this younger generation that's going to grow up with it. That's what Facebook did too, right? They were originally with like college students and so on. And now
it's probably no surprise they were advertising to 4-year-olds. I mean, that's when you start the indoctrination.
Exactly. That's 100%. That's true, right? And like Marcus knows what TikTok is and stuff. And now I tell him he can't watch it because I don't know. I can't control as much the type of content he sees and so on within the app.
He's talking a lot about the proletariat and stuff, and you're like, okay, this is a little worrisome. No more TikTok.
Yeah. So TikTok.
Well, I was just going to quickly because we're talking about TikTok versus YouTube. And this promo article, I was actually impressed with how in depth they went. Like, this is a huge article. They really did their homework on this. I agree with you, Matt. The data is a little over the place, which is why I'm sharing my screen here. This is why I went over to similarweb.com, which is one of those popular tools that people use to measure how successful a website is. So you can see here, I've got the filter set to worldwide. No big surprise. Everybody knows the number one website in the world is Google. But the beautiful thing about this tool is that I've got these 3 other metrics on the right-hand side here. I got average visit duration. I've got the average website pages viewed per visit. And then finally, I got the bounce rate. Everyone wants to know what the bounce rate is, right? So even though YouTube here is showing as the number,
Let's just really quickly explain what a bounce rate is. They come to the site and they don't click on anything. And that's what bounce rate is.
And actually, I'm going to hover over the description here. Thanks, Matt, because bounce rate can mean different things to different people. What they're using here is the percentage of visitors that view only one page on the website before exiting. So in YouTube's case, that'd probably be viewing one video and then exiting, right? That would be how they're calculating the bounce rate in YouTube's case. So now I got to highlight this because it's just too important not to highlight. Right now, I'm looking at the top 10 websites in the world. YouTube is kicking all of their butts on all 3 metrics. It's got the highest average view duration, it's got the highest page visits, and it's got the lowest bounce rate. So the next question is, where's TikTok on this list? So I'm scrolling all the way down, and there it is in the 18th spot. So I'm not bashing TikTok here. Basically, going back to what we're talking about, and this article is about for business.
But wait, Andrew, hang on. I gotta cut you off because that's web-based, and TikTok is very much a mobile app.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, TikTok is very much a mobile app, and I don't even have. I'm like Dan. I don't have TikTok either, but.
And you know how all these platforms are like super mobile, right? Like TikTok's basically 100% mobile. Instagram, Facebook became like over 90% mobile. Twitter is very mobile. And then I remember the stat on YouTube, it was like 70% mobile, right? So they're not as high up on the mobile. I totally agree with you.
So if TikTok actually wants to become a serious contender of YouTube, they're going to have a much better desktop experience, for one.
They do. They have a good website. I think there's, it's definitely there. I'm just saying in terms of how people really use TikTok, because it's vertical video. It's made for your phone.
Speaking to that, I wanted to circle back to that too. Viewer intent. Viewer intent is a huge thing here. I know a lot of people think it's a sexy thing to talk about these days. YouTube versus TikTok. This is what a lot of people are like that we're talking about right now. But viewer intent really means something. And in my opinion, and I'm just one tiny piece of the marketplace here, I've heard lots of people in my life say, I got to delete TikTok off my phone because I'm wasting so much time. I got to delete Instagram off my phone. I'm wasting so much time. I've never heard anyone say that about YouTube off their phone. I've never heard it.
That's right. Yeah. YouTube, you educate a lot. Yeah.
I do that, but only because I have none of the other apps. So YouTube is like the
okay. Well,
last
then Dan, you're finally you're the first person.
You're right.
Says that about the YouTube app, though. You're the first person.
YouTube is an intentional thing often where you're like, hey, I want to watch an episode. Like when I'm sitting to have lunch, if I'm going to open a YouTube video, I even know the channel I want to go to.
Yeah. Because it's a content resource library.
Whereas Instagram is a scroll to your board. I assume from what I know of TikTok, that's what it is. You're just like, I want to avoid a life challenge, and this is a way I can procrastinate it and distract myself, kind of.
I've asked a few people because I'm not like a TikTok user a lot. I don't think I've ever scrolled more than 3 or 4 videos, and I asked people about it, and I know a lot of people who prefer TikTok over Instagram. But I also don't scroll Instagram and Facebook. If I find myself scrolling for like.
On that note, actually, I just thought of this. I don't think I've shared this with you yet. Evan Carmichael, one of the most successful, most influential people around. I just found out the other day when I was on a group call with him and a bunch of people, he disclosed and shared that Instagram used to be his number 2 platform. Now it's TikTok. He's making TikTok his number 2 platform. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I think it's So TikTok did become the most downloaded app on the Apple App Store, specifically for teens. It is number 2 in the Google Play Store. Meta's suite of apps, such as Facebook or Instagram or so on, I think it was Instagram, is still number 1 in the Google Play Store. And also, I saw a stat somewhere here that, based on this study anyways, it was from Piper Sandler, that said that out of the 7,000 plus people, the teens that they surveyed, 87% of them have an iPhone, and 80% of the people who don't have an iPhone said their next phone is going to be an iPhone. So I don't know.
And 13% said, I hate my parents. Why won't they buy me?
Yeah. So, but it's just showing that, like, I don't know how much this matters, that, teens are gravitating towards Apple devices and the Apple ecosystem. And, I don't know how much it really means to the story, but I just thought that was interesting. And that, and people are starting, there's a lot more data around spending and commerce and so on within TikTok, and people buying things that they see on TikTok. So yeah, I think it's interesting to see kind of what's going to happen there. But I'm going to predict that the next move, so TikTok just is testing 10-minute reels, or not reels, sorry, 10-minute vertical videos. My prediction is they go to horizontal videos with more of a web experience and compete head to head with TikTok. And that's going to really make this competition TikTok versus YouTube. Right now, a lot of reports, and you look at these comparisons, most of it is about TikTok versus Instagram. Everyone's comparing those two. It was actually, I had to search to find an article about TikTok versus YouTube. And this was the best one I could find. So I think that conversation is going to change over the next few months. And so that's my prediction. So Andrew, do you know what the most viewed TikTok is of all time?
No, I don't know what.
It happens to be a black screen. So yeah, so I saw this. So I went to the TikTok. I can't remember how I found this. I think I was just on like the TikTok suggested. I went to like most popular, and I saw this TikTok. I'm going to play it for people to listen to this.
It's just a black screen.
Wait.
So this is it behind me. There's no sound, no anything, just the color black. And it currently has 61 billion views. It was posted by this creator. Now, there's a 100% chance that 99% of those views are not real. So technically, that is not the most viewed video on TikTok. I believe the actual most viewed video on TikTok belongs to Zach King and has just over 2 billion views. But it's still impressive that this creator found a way to get a black screen to 61 billion views. The most viewed...
So I think that's really interesting. So then I went over to that user's account, which is at AUUT, and it is now banned. It's gone anyways. It says couldn't find this account. It got deleted. So what's interesting about this is that somebody figured out a hack on TikTok. Maybe they found a glitch. I don't know what they did, but like getting that many billions of views is, not no small little hack, whatever they figured out. Right. So I thought that just, interesting. That was like a black screen. Because I think there was also the most liked video on YouTube at one point was like a picture of an egg or something like that.
No,
you know what I'm talking
I never
about?
came across.
Or what was that?
Never came across.
Or was that
on
on Twitter?
I honestly don't think we can even fault TikTok for this because they are a younger platform. They're still figuring things out, and human beings are really freaking smart. And if they can figure out a way to gamify the system, there's back in 2017, there were all kinds of clickbaity things going on in YouTube, but it reduced the experience for the viewer. The YouTube AI fixed all of that. And yeah, TikTok might be going through some growing pains, but it's pretty interesting. I agree. It's interesting that this content creator figured out some kind of hack and now their account is no more.
Yeah, who knows if they're really a creator.
That's
They're just trying to like show off that they figured out a little loophole. The most liked egg on Instagram. That's what it was.
Right.
They just pull it up here. You guys can see. So it was a picture of an egg. I don't know how they got so much. I remember seeing this in the news and stuff. Like it was getting a lot of exposure. They wanted to make this the most liked post on all of Instagram. And that's what this is. But yeah, so then like going through this list here on popbuzz.com of like the most viewed TikTok videos. I don't even know how they see the views because I think you can't see the views.
Oh, can you not?
On TikTok?
Right?
Not right about that. I thought I remember when I was looking around, I was like, I could see the hearts, I can see the comments, I can see the shares. I'm not seeing I'm on Zach King's video, which is predicted to be the most viewed. I just don't know how they know how many views it had. It just shows how many comments and stuff. So I'm not sure about that, how they know. But so yeah, I just think that's. I wonder about it. I try to Google quite a bit to try to figure out what was going on with the black screen, what the story was behind it. And
there isn't a lot of information out there. Oh, well.
No, I dug deep and I was like, what did you do? What happened? Whatever, And this is kind of like, the story is like lost in the weeds now. Because even when you go and look at, these lists on like Wikipedia here, this is the list of most liked TikTok videos. There's no mention of it. So it's kind of gone. It's like old news now. So I'm very curious to know what happened, what he did. So I don't know if anyone else knows. You guys watching this video, anyone else Google this, let me know in the comments. I want to know if there was I just can't imagine what it would have been like. Because I can imagine millions of views. I get it. I could see that one. But how do you get to the billions with a black screen? Right?
Yeah. That's just strange. I don't know how.
Could you just run some sort of a script that just keeps on refreshing the page?
Because a view is counted, at least from what I dug up, TikTok does count a view as 0.1 seconds. So you're right. What if they just ran some kind of program that refreshes the page a bunch of times? Do you think maybe that could have done it?
Yeah, but would it be that simple? I don't know.
But billions of views, that would still take forever. I think that would probably take years or something like that. And then I'd have to do the math. I'm no math whiz. But then looking at the Wikipedia link that you flagged for us here, and I gotta ask you, what's your honest opinion of the one with the most likes in the millions? 56. What's it at right now? Bella Porch? M to the B video. It's a lip singing video. I did watch it before we hit record today. I don't get it.
Okay. So I watched a whole video about her. I think she's really interesting. So what happened with her, she had a lot of mystery around like kind of in a way who she was, and so I don't know what, and whether or not she had a boyfriend. There was this whole thing because like people were, she's a very attractive woman, right? And people were like wondering about it, and then I saw this whole. I wish I could flag the video to show people, but what happened was she like disappeared for a while, then she would just come back randomly, and then when she disappeared for a long time, and then when she came back, she kind of like she had all these kind of like what you call like open loops within her story. You know about open loops? I remember like the series Lost. People like who used to love Lost because it had all these open loops. They would never close the loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I watched the whole thing too, right? It was like, same like, Breaking Bad and, Game of Thrones, open loops, right? So that was what was interesting about her, is that her kind of like, her story is like, nobody really knows like who she really is as a person. She just had this kind of like, call it a character. Who knows if her character was real or not, but it appeared to be like, she's playing a character on YouTube that's like, in a format that looks like it's real, or
so when you say she disappeared, you mean just like stop making content?
Yeah, she stopped making content for a long time, and then when she came back, this is what was interesting about the story. I was not planning to talk about Bella. I just thought it was a very interesting story. When she came back, then she like started making videos, and then basically closed all the loops, and of the story that she was creating. And again, I didn't go that deep to know if like even what she was saying was even real or whatever. It's just like, the story of her, who she is on YouTube or whatever, right? And then she said that she had a boyfriend. And when she said that she had a boyfriend, that kind of killed it because all these, I guess, guys were like fantasizing about her in some way or whatever. So when she says she has a boyfriend, now she's not available anymore. And then it like kind of killed her engagement, her influence her or whatever, right? And then she disappeared again. And then I think she came back again, and now she's kind of back again. I saw her in MrBeast video when they had the tag challenge. I don't know if you remember that. It was hide and seek. She was in that one, and so now she's kind of like back. I don't watch her. I'm not familiar with her content. I just think that. And I mean, I'm a YouTube expert. I'm a YouTube guy, so I'm clearly biased here, and I'm trying, and I see the value that TikTok brings, and I know it's as a platform, it brings value to people. They wouldn't be achieving these kinds of crazy numbers if they're not bringing value to the marketplace in some way. But that was one of the TikToks I reviewed before we hit the record button, and I'm like, really? I'm gonna watch this. Let's see this.
To the B, Sam to the B, it's M to the B, it's M to the B, it's M to the B,
I don't know.
Like I watched it and I'm like, I'm never gonna get those 15 seconds back in my life. Okay, TikTok. Clearly I don't get TikTok. Right? That's how I feel about it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it too. Like, I mean,
that didn't add any value to me in whatsoever. I didn't find it entertaining. I didn't find it educational. I didn't find it.
What gets because like usually on YouTube, what's going to get the views is, okay, call it the watch time, whatever, but people sharing it, the virality, people sharing it, right? Like this to me is not shareable.
I would never.
It's cute. It's nice. It's like whatever, right? It's just.
But to have the most likes of anything on Twitter.
No, not Twitter, TikTok. TikTok, you mean?
Or sorry, TikTok. Sorry, I don't know why I just.
Yeah, it's like Twitter. Number 5 here at 683 million views.
I just don't get it. So I guess I just won't get TikTok then. I don't get it.
Oh, I guess okay. She's bopping her head to Millie B's track, so maybe she, it was a timing thing. Maybe that song was a big song at the time. People were liking it. So they saw that and they start imitating her and then doing the thing. And maybe that's
she uploaded it. Yeah. And she uploaded it August 17th, 2020. So maybe it was like right at the beginning of a trend.
Yeah. Probably the song just came out. A lot of people love the song and they're like, oh, I love this song. So let's say me and you, we love this Millie B song together and like, oh, check this out, And then and the audience on TikTok is kind of like, within her age bracket and stuff. And she's a pretty girl and stuff. So maybe, and also I found in some of these stats that TikTok was like 60% female. Most users on TikTok are women. So maybe women are seeing it. She's very popular on TikTok. She's like a leader of the women, Gen Zs, So maybe that's kind of, all a timing thing.
Yeah. And maybe I'm just dating myself as an almost 40-year-old going, I don't get it.
Well, it is kind of an I don't get it, but I'm just now I'm kind of thinking about like, that it could have been like the song was maybe, I don't even know what that song. I don't even know who Millie B is.
Because I mean, and I mean, I guess I'm jumping all over the place now, but out of this list of top 10, the Zach King TikToks, I found those entertaining.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get that. But hers, I don't get. I get the Zach King, but he's just an amazing content creator. I think he's incredible.
The Zach King ones are really, because they're kind of magic and stuff, right? Did you see the, again, off topic, last thing is that, that Zach King won $1 million. He won the hide and seek competition, the one that also Bella was in, I mentioned. So he ended up winning $1 million. And then what he did is he said he's going to give it away MrBeast style. So he won $1 million from MrBeast, and now he's giving it away. So he put out a video in a MrBeast style with all these little competitions, and he was giving away money to people. But what was really cool about it, it was MrBeast style, but with magic. So there was these moments where he was doing this magic tricks and stuff. Yeah. I would say it was like not very good because it's not his style. I found it was a little bit slow and the editing was actually not that good or whatever. I mean, it's okay. But I just thought it was cool of him kind of doing a MrBeast kind of video and adding in his elements of magic. Well, just like within, like as if he was a magic person in the real world. You know what I mean? Like he was like popping away or whatever, right? So it was an interesting thing. All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the show. Dan, thanks for being here as well. And if you guys want to check out Dan's channel, it's Dreams Around the World. Let's link it up in the what do you call it, the call out card or something, with a link box thing. You guys can go check it out. And thanks for watching. And watch more of our videos. Don't subscribe. Just watch more of our videos because we got good videos.
Watch all the videos.
There's a playlist.
You're going to learn autoplay overnight.
Yeah, you're going to learn a lot. So, yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks
for having me, guys.
All right.
See you.
Take care.